Millions in Syria and Iraq are facing water shortages as the region's longest river, the Euphrates, dries up.
This isn't just about a river drying up, it's about ancient prophecies, vanishing empires, and a mystery re-emerging from the past. The Euphrates River, once the lifeblood of kingdoms and a symbol of divine power, is disappearing before our eyes.
Officials say the country's water reserves have dropped to their lowest level in 80 years.
As its waters retreat, secrets buried for millennia are resurfacing. Lost cities, hidden caves, and even biblical warnings.
When the Bible says particular things will happen, they happen.
This isn't merely a natural disaster, it may be a sign of something far greater. From war and politics to prophecy and destiny, the Euphrates holds more than just water. It holds the story of humankind itself. The lifeblood of ancient civilizations. For thousands of years, the Euphrates wasn't simply a river, it was the spine of civilization. Flowing from the highlands of Turkey through Syria and Iraq, it shaped the fate of humanity's first great societies. Along its fertile banks, people learned to write, trade, and govern. Cities like Uruk, Ur, Mari, and Nippur rose in the Mesopotamian plain, the world's first urban landscapes. Farmers relied on its predictable floods to nourish crops. Merchants floated goods down its gentle current. Priests built temples along its edge, believing the river carried messages from the gods. The ancient Sumerians called it Buranuna, meaning the holy stream. To them, the Euphrates was alive, a divine force connecting earth and heaven. Its waters were used in rituals, sacrifices, and coronations. In clay tablets dating back over 5,000 years, the river is described as the blood of the gods, sustaining not just life, but order itself. The Bible describes it as one of the 4 rivers flowing from Eden, a boundary between paradise and the world of man. Greek mythology saw it as one of the sacred rivers of the underworld. Across cultures, the Euphrates represented something more than geography. It was destiny, the place where creation began and empires were born. Empires like Babylon and Assyria flourished because of it. Great kings such as Hammurabi and Nebuchadnezzar built their capitals beside its waters. Armies marched along its shores, and poets sang of its beauty. The Euphrates witnessed humanity's rise and its many falls. Now, as the river recedes, the earth is revealing the bones of its past. The Euphrates is uncovering what it once concealed: ancient walls, forgotten shrines, and the silent witnesses of history's first civilizations. The Euphrates in prophecy and religion. Few rivers carry as much spiritual weight as the Euphrates. It's woven into the heart of 3 major faiths: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. But it's in prophecy that its name becomes most haunting. In the book of Revelation, chapter 16, it is written that the great river Euphrates was dried up to prepare the way for the kings of the east. The drying of this river marks the beginning of a great battle, a final war that would engulf the world. The prophecy also speaks of a vast army, 200 million strong, advancing across its dry bed. When John wrote those words 2,000 years ago, such an army was unimaginable. Yet in modern times, the idea of an eastern force with immense numbers, nations united by conflict, feels strangely possible. Many point to rising global tensions and wonder if these ancient visions were warnings of our time. In Islam, the river also holds a terrifying prediction. Prophet Muhammad is said to have declared that before the end of days, the Euphrates would reveal a mountain of gold. People would rush to claim it, fighting and dying over it, until only one man remained. Scholars interpret this gold as literal wealth, oil, or even spiritual temptation. The warning is clear: greed will destroy those who chase it. And today, as the Euphrates continues to shrink, locals have begun finding traces of minerals and yellow silt shining in the dried channels. Videos of men panning for gold have spread online, reigniting old prophecies. To believers, it's a sign that words spoken centuries ago are echoing into reality. To skeptics, it's a coincidence, a poetic reflection of nature and human folly. But either way, prophecy or not, the parallels are impossible to ignore. The Euphrates has always been more than a river. It's a message carved in water, and now that message is being revealed. the drying river and rising tensions. As the Euphrates fades, the modern world is facing a crisis that feels biblical in scale. For decades, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey have shared the river's flow and its conflict. The Euphrates is their lifeline, providing water for crops, power, and millions of people. But in recent years, its volume has dropped dramatically.
Millions in Syria and Iraq are facing water shortages as the region's longest river, the Euphrates, dries up.
Droughts caused by climate change, record heat, and aggressive dam projects have reduced the river to a fraction of its former strength. Upstream, Turkey's massive southeastern Anatolia project, a network of dams and reservoirs, has changed everything. Downstream nations receive far less water than before. In Iraq, the result is devastating. Canals have turned to mud. Villages that depended on the river for generations are being abandoned. Farmers who once grew wheat and barley now walk across cracked soil where fish once swam. The great marshes of Mesopotamia, once lush wetlands that inspired the story of Eden, are drying into a desert. Syria faces the same fate. Cities that relied on hydroelectric dams now experience blackouts. In some areas, the river has receded so far that bridges that once crossed deep blue water now span dry earth. Without cooperation, experts warn, water could become the Middle East's next major war. The Euphrates, once a source of unity and trade, has become a dividing line of power, and as its flow weakens, so does the region's stability. Lost cities and unearthed treasures. Yet even in loss, the Euphrates reveals miracles. As the waters vanish, the river is giving up secrets buried for thousands of years. Archaeologists have uncovered ancient cities long thought lost to time. The ruins of Mari, once the jewel of Mesopotamia, have re-emerged, its walls and palace floors drying in the open air. The city's archives, preserved in clay tablets, tell stories of kings, wars, and gods that shaped early humanity. Further downstream, the city of Dura Europos, called the Pompeii of the East, stands uncovered again. Built by Greeks, conquered by Romans, and later destroyed by Persians, it was a crossroads of faiths, with temples dedicated to Zeus, Mithra, and Yahweh standing side by side. Even more mysterious are the newly exposed caves along the river's old channels. Some contain bones and carvings, others strange tunnels descending deep into the rock. The symbols etched into these walls suggest rituals, sacrifices, and beliefs long forgotten. To archaeologists, the receding river is both tragedy and opportunity. Each discovery reshapes our understanding of how early civilizations lived, worshipped, and vanished. The Euphrates, it seems, is still teaching, even as it dies. Warnings, symbols, and spiritual meaning. The Euphrates drying up is more than environmental collapse. It's a mirror, reflecting the moral and spiritual decay of a world losing balance. In the book of Revelation, the drying river unleashes 4 angels bound beneath it, bringing fire, smoke, and destruction to a third of mankind. The imagery is terrifying but symbolic, a reminder that human pride and greed eventually summon their own judgment. The Bible often uses water as a symbol of nations and people. Revelation 17:15 describes waters as representing peoples and multitudes and nations. When those waters dry, it suggests emptiness, not of rivers, but of faith. To many believers, the shrinking Euphrates is more than climate change. It's a spiritual drought, a sign of humanity's distance from its creator. And when the Prophet Muhammad's words about gold resurface in the news, they serve as another warning. That mankind still chases wealth, even as the world burns around it. Perhaps the message isn't that the river is dying, but that we are. The Euphrates is only showing us what's been lost inside ourselves: humility, reverence, and respect for the divine order of life. The future of the Euphrates and humanity's choice. Now, the river stands at a crossroads. Its flow is weaker each year. Satellite images show its once mighty channels reduced to narrow streams. Some scientists predict that by the end of the century, the Euphrates could shrink to less than half its current size. In Iraq, this means disaster. Millions could lose access to clean water. Farmland will vanish. Cities may fall into chaos as food shortages grow. The birthplace of civilization could become uninhabitable. But beyond politics and climate lies a deeper truth. This is a test. The fate of the Euphrates mirrors that of humanity. Will we continue to drain the earth for power and profit? Or will we learn from warnings written in the past? The river's story is the story of us. Creation, growth, corruption, and consequence. We can still choose restoration. But time is running out. A river's final message. As the Euphrates shrinks into silence, it speaks louder than ever. Once it carried the dreams of empires. Now it carries their ghosts. Its cracked bed glimmers under the sun, exposing the ruins of temples and the bones of forgotten kings. The same waters that birthed civilization now remind us that nothing, not power, not faith, not even time, lasts forever. The Euphrates whispers a final truth. Every beginning has an end, and every warning comes before a choice. Humanity has been given both the evidence of the past and the chance to change the future. The question is whether we'll listen. Our journey through this river's story isn't just about history or prophecy, it's about reflection. The Euphrates is fading, but its voice remains. It calls us to awaken, remember, and prepare. Because once the last drop is gone, the meaning behind it may be all that remains. Stay curious, stay awake, and keep watching the signs.